afternoon. It is Thursday, almost the end of June 2022, and it's lovely for me to be back. I'm Nadine Vosloo, Mama Tjhoko, and I'm here today for one sole purpose, and that is to give inspiration and to inspire you to revamp, upcycle something in your own home. If something around you is beautiful and filled with colors that touches your soul, you will feel happy, you will feel inspired, and you will feel happy to be home. And that is why I'm here this afternoon, to give inspiration. Today, I'll be working on natural fabric. So this is a tablecloth that I have found in my linen cupboard. And I mention it quite often. Tjhoko, my husband, and also the person behind the camera, is the team member, family member in our home that has the tendency to stain my tablecloths. Also, a surface that you can apply this technique is on old duvet covers. Instead of going out to buy something new, we upcycle with little, and I'm going to give you some inspiration. Thank you, Michelle from Switzerland, for reminding me to work with a blending brush. And hello, wherever you are watching, whether it's our fellow chocoholics from Switzerland, from Australia, feel welcome, feel the warmth and the friendliness of South Africa in your own homes. I'll be working with a blending brush today, and what I have in front of me, we have lovely raining weather in the Eastern Cape, and it's perfect pancake weather, but I won't be able to bake any pancakes because all my dishes are dirty. I have tap water in the one container, salad bowl. Tjhoko is non-toxic, just by the way. In this salad bowl, I'm going to add the color Savvy Steffi into cooled boiled water. Whatever is left over from this mixture, I can use later again. As you can see, very little paint. It's almost the ratio, 3 parts water, 1 part paint. So it's very runny. There's no specific recipe. So you can add according to your color preference. If you want the color to be darker, you add more paint. In this one, I'm going to mix the last little bit of Magical Marina in the sample jar I have. And I'm just going to scoop it out. Some new Tjhoko colors that we've launched recently. Beautiful colors named after fabulous people. The entire range consists out of a story and a person that our colors are named after. Okay, so this is step 1. Decide on your as I've prepared them. Step 1, important, natural fabric, not synthetic fabric. Natural fabrics are dull. They don't have any shininess to them, so that they can actually absorb water. And I'm going to share a technique with you on how to color fabric, so that you can have control over what you're doing. It's not tie-dyeing that we've shown before. So this is a creative, more controlled way of coloring fabric. Like I've mentioned before, I have an old duvet set that I'm definitely going to do the same with. Also white, and over the years it has stained, it's more yellowy, and I'm just going to upcycle. Okay, so I have spread water on my surface. I'm taking my blending brush because they work best for blending purposes. You can hold them nicely. This is what they look like in their packaging. It's part of our Tjhoko Hamilton's range. So they sit nicely in your hand, it's comfortable. And I spread this wet paint on my wet fabric. What the wetness of the fabric does, it helps with even an even way of spreading the color onto the surface. I can also change direction if I want to. And I can be playful. So if you want to add more colors, you can definitely do so. For the reason of my technique and the colors I'm using is later I'm going to add more color. So I'm working with a light background to later be able to incorporate more color. While this is wet, I'm moving over to Magical Marina so that I can almost create like an ombre effect on my fabric. So the bottom part will be darker, moving into a lighter version of the same color family. So it's overcast here, and we have switched every light on that we possibly could find just to make lighting not an issue. How stunning is that? Can't see it. Okay, let me add more. It's the shadows that play a role. Maybe Tjhoko, if you move over to my shoulder on this side, because I'm standing in the shadow. Is it better? Mm-hmm. So there you can see the gradual change in color. I'm adding more just so that everything makes better sense, and I can move back to Savvy Steffi and change the color of my fabric to something that's trendy, that's beautiful, and I don't need to throw away. Okay, this is step 1. I'm working on a flat surface, and you need to do the same. So what I've done is I've actually put a drop sheet underneath so that absorbs any excess moisture, and I'm going to let this dry flat. Or you can put it on a line outside, but not if you have covered the entire surface with color. Else the paint will just drip to the bottom and it will just be contamination of color. So if you can allow for this to dry flat and maybe just have a gradual blend on one section at a time. Okay, next step. I'm going to wait for this to dry before I start with my stencil technique. Together with a new color range, we have also launched a new stencil range, which makes me so excited. So this is a layered stencil. So it comes with, and I've used it already today, so excuse all the blotches of paint everywhere. So it comes with a step 1 and then with a step 2. So this creates added detail on top of the first stencil. Let me show you how to use. So I have already prepared one there. I'm just going to start with a section here. So you put down stencil 1. That's usually the one with the largest empty parts on the design. I am now still going to, usual steps, secure my stencil with masking tape to prevent the stencil from moving. The stencil has 2 holes at the top, and you can actually, in the center of those holes, just make a mark with a pencil. So when you apply the second stencil, they fit exactly on top of each other. If there's not a hole, what I usually do is I just mark the edge on both sides of my stencil with a light pencil indicator, so that when I apply my second stencil, they are exactly in the same position. Okay, so I secure my stencil with masking tape, and now I have a variety of Tjhoko colors in the sample jars in front of me, and I'm going to be playful. I am going to give some tips on stenciling on fabric for those of you that are new to our groups and pages and our YouTube channel. Stencil brush works best. Short, stiff bristles. Not too much paint, so I remove any excess paint. I press my stencil down with my free hand, and in circular motion, I spread the paint onto my fabric. Remember, you can use colors that work for you. See me as inspiration to unleash the creativity so that you will have the confidence to try something yourself. I have already worked with some of these colors. We will mention them in the description. So there's Pretty's Pink, John's Joy, Bob's Blue, Tjhoko, Matte Black, Cloud White, Asgat, Kaylee's Candy, True Blue, and Nate. And I'm just going to be playful with these colors. Little paint, circular movement, and I fill the open gaps on my stencil with paint. I'm not going to do every single one of them. I just want the process to make sense. Circular movement, little paint. Once that has been completed, I'll now move over to my next section. How stunning already. Tip: if you want something to be blemished, say for instance you did maybe use too much paint and you just want to hide that imperfection, but also remember this is handmade. It doesn't necessarily need to be perfect. You've made it yourself, and the fact that you've made it makes it already perfect. But I want to hide any imperfections. I'm using a 100 grit piece of sandpaper that I've cut more or less 10 by 10 centimeter. I can even fold it in half, and now very lightly, you don't want to damage your fabric. I'm just sanding over my perfect stencil work, or imperfect, and I just want it to look more natural, that it was actually, it seems as if it was printed onto my fabric, but it's actually not. Let's do this one. Sand it. So there you can see texture coming through. It's not as perfect anymore. Baba Yaku, our son Yaku, is going to visit his girlfriend. Okay, so I have sanded the dry. Important, the paint needs to be dry. I don't know if you can see it clearly on the screen, but it looks as if it's an imprint now. It doesn't look like something that was painted onto the surface. I'm just quickly gonna sand through, and you can see the texture of the fabric coming through as well. Can you see it, Yaku? How stunning is that? Let's do a pretty one as well. The stencil is also a pattern repeat, so you can repeat to the top, to the left, to the right, doesn't matter. And you can complete an entire section. I just want to do the hem of this tablecloth. Okay, there it's done. Next, I'm going to apply my second stencil. Now this is the layered part. I'm putting it down. I've made my marks so it sits nicely in position. And now you can decide if you want to use different colors or just white to fill in the detail. If you want to use black, I've done both options, black and white, so that you can see the difference. Same steps apply. Little paint. I'm using white now. Fill the gaps of my birds. Trish, I'm thinking of you when I do this birds, because I just know how much you love birds. And my friend Dale, if she's watching. And I spread it. Also remember, you can always apply a second coat if you want it more prominent. So I'm just seeing that all the detail is done in white. Cloud white I'm using for this. I just want you to see the final result. Where's another one? There's another one. And then the dots I'm going to do with Magical Marina. I've already done a few of them just to make the process easy and shorter, but also easy to see what the steps are. And remember, if you want these birds to be very neutral, you can do soft grey tones. It doesn't need to be as colourful as mine. I just thought it's winter and we don't necessarily need to only have greys in and around us. I'm just filling the dots with Magical Marina. Okay, and let's reveal. And here it goes. And there's all the detail. And once again, you can sand to just blend it in more. On this section over here, I've worked with blacks so that you can see what the difference is. And here's something that I did with Chantal. Chantal came to visit me for a birthday gift from her husband for a day workshop, and we had a blast. So this was actually like a bull denim bag that we colored with and now I need to think, Hello Hetty and Lady Lisa. And then we did the stenciling with Simply Sipiwe and Magical Marina. And how stunning is that? Then something that I did earlier today, Crystal, I've used you. On this pillowcase that was initially white, I used Lady Lisa and Creative Crystal. And this is actually a very trendy green at the moment. And can you imagine, and maybe I should just quickly do it, if I use this stencil as a border stencil, just over here, with a lighter color.
So what did you do with the pillowcase?
Okay, with the pillowcase, I did exactly what I have shown right in the start. I've wetted. Now this was small enough that I could actually wet it underneath a tap. Wet it, laid it flat. And then I used Creative Crystal and Lady Lisa with the blending brushes, and I've just spread those colors. And this is what it came out as. This green is very trendy at the moment. You see accessories all over the decor stores with a description of the green can almost be something like an army green. Okay, and then how beautiful this can be to include a stencil like that at the bottom with a neutral like Label Slides or Super Sonnet. I'll do it and I'll share the end result with you, or if you will give me a moment I can do it. I just want to give some inspiration from the book before I start stenciling, give some inspiration and give my message for the rest of the week. In our book, seeing that it's almost July, here is some creative July inspiration. There's dots. Now this is done on a tapete tent, but it can be on anything. Look how beautiful dots can be, maybe on the edge of a tablecloth or even a pillowcase. Then we've also done the bunting. We've done stencil work on, and stripes on a pillowcase with Eye of Elsie. If I see this, even the watering can, which is a galvanized item, was Tjhoko. If I see this, a lot of memories come back on the crazy time when when we've put together the book, Crazy Happy Moments. Okay, July inspiration. Okay, while I'm going to stencil this, I'm just getting my color that I need. Okay, while I'm stenciling this, I'm going to talk just to share ask a favor. So the favor is the following. We have a company in Australia that needs some assistance with the likes on the Facebook page. And we all know someone that is based in Australia, whether it's a friend, a family member. So please ask them to go like our Tjhoko Paint Australian Facebook page and Instagram page. Please, this is a favor I'm asking. Then, glaze is available in a larger quantity, 500 milliliter, for those of you that attempt larger projects. Thank you for the suggestions. We always try to listen, and if you have more suggestions, share them with us. We will make the stencil of Paris available soon in larger quantity. I know that's a request. And then my message for the week is the following. You don't need to be perfect, rather be unique, because when you are unique, then we know there's only one of you. And life can do with many uniquenesses. I hope that you will have a stunning week ahead, be filled with creativity. Please be in thought with the Eastern Cape, where we desperately need water in our catchment areas. And stay safe, stay warm, stay creative. And there's a small piece of inspiration before I say goodbye. Till next time, bye-bye.